House. Sordid details, more questions.
The allegations are false.
A stunning tale of an alleged affair, secret recordings, the President of the United States, his future.
She did not have a sexual relationship with the President.
In Cuba, the Pope's historic mission reaches the masses, his timely message, family values. Tonight, from the Pope to the President, a complex cast of characters, the latest details, and NBC News in-depth report.
From NBC News, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. Reporting tonight from Washington.
Good evening. We can only imagine the conversations that must be going on in the living quarters of the White House there tonight as the greatest crisis of the Clinton presidency heads into its third and what could be a crucial day. Tomorrow, Monica Lewinsky, the young woman at the center of this alleged sex scandal, is scheduled to testify in the case of Paula Jones. Will she support the president's denial and say they did not have a sexual relationship? This is a defining moment politically and legally for the president, the others in this scandal, and for the nation. We begin tonight with NBC's Claire Shipman at the White House. Claire?
Tom, already tonight, subpoenas are being served here to low-level staff members and interns. And the official press strategy seems to be to stall, to give the president time to prepare for a full-scale public questioning in the next few days. But that's making for a lot of frustration around here. For a second day in a row, a White House in crisis. The president offers again only cautious and general denials, even as the scandal threatens to include allegations of other extramarital affairs.
We will give you as many answers as we can, as soon as we can, at the appropriate time.
And a hungry press corps came up empty-handed at a brief appearance by Kenneth Starr as well, the Whitewater prosecutor now investigating these charges. This morning, the president's lawyer took a shot at Starr and the fact he placed a listening device on a friend of Monica Lewinsky's to get evidence.
I think we should think long and hard before we have sting operations involving a sitting president.
But he offered no new answers, nor did Vernon Jordan, one of Clinton's best friends, who denied both the relationship and that he'd asked Lewinsky to lie about it.
Ms. Lewinsky told me in no uncertain terms that she did not have a sexual relationship with the president.
Jordan did admit to helping Lewinsky find a job in New York and to taking her to see his attorney. Some top aides say even they don't know exactly what sort of relationship the president had with Lewinsky. Mike McCurry also avoided Lewinsky questions and was forced to offer a convoluted explanation on an old charge, the president's alleged 12-year affair with Jennifer Flowers, which the president denied in 1992.
The president knows that he told the truth in 1992 when he was asked about that relationship, and he knows that he testified truthfully on Saturday.
NBC News has learned that the president did admit to sleeping with Jennifer Flowers in his Saturday statement to Jones's lawyers, but that the president believes that does not constitute a long affair. And NBC News has learned that Jones' lawyers are also investigating a recent alleged extramarital affair with the widow of Larry Lawrence, former ambassador to Switzerland, whose burial at Arlington Cemetery caused a recent scandal. Now, Shalea Lawrence tonight called those charges outrageous. But, Tom, ultimately the question is, even if the president does come out and deny all, what of the reported mounting circumstantial evidence? Messenger receipts for gifts exchanged or reports of the president's voice on the answering machine of Lewinsky. The question is, we're told that doesn't point to a sexual affair, but it does point to some sort of relationship.
Thanks very much, Claire Shipman at the White House tonight. Well, obviously, this is much more than an ordinary sex and politics scandal. It's also a major and complex legal tangle. There are some critical negotiations underway tonight, even as we speak. And here's NBC's David Bloom with the latest on that. David?
Tom, NBC News has learned that federal prosecutors who are trying to convince the former White House intern to testify against the president are tonight at an impasse in their negotiations. Sources say that Monica Lewinsky is demanding a grant of full immunity, and the prosecutors have so far refused. Independent counsel Kenneth Starr's entire case rests upon former White House intern Monica Lewinsky. Prosecutors acknowledge that unless she testifies to an alleged affair and a cover-up involving President Clinton, there is no chance that a federal grand jury would indict either the president or Vernon Jordan, given their adamant denials of any wrongdoing. But sources say talks between Lewinsky's lawyers and Starr's office temporarily broke down last night over the question of full or partial immunity. Today, Starr refused to acknowledge even that talks are ongoing, but did say,
I have a very strong belief in facts and in truth, and that the facts will come out and the truth will come out eventually.
Information is leaking out about tapes Lewinsky's friend Linda Tripp secretly recorded, in which Lewinsky talks openly about her alleged affair with the president, at times referring to Mr. Clinton as the big he, at other times the creep. Newsweek reporter Michael Isikoff listened to one such tape this weekend.
Monica Lewinsky is at times distraught, anguished. She weeps, and her concern is clearly over this upcoming testimony in the Paula Jones case and fears that her relationship with the president would be disclosed.
On tape, sources say Lewinsky claims that the president himself told her that there is no evidence of an affair, that she should deny. And sources say Lewinsky claims that she engaged in only a particular kind of sex with the president, and that Mr. Clinton allegedly gave her gifts, including a dress.
Linda Tripp is saying, if I'm asked whether you, Monica, told me you were having an affair with the president, I'm going to say yes. And Monica is despairing and saying that just can't happen. I'm not going to say that.
Now, on tape, we're told that Monica Lewinsky claims that after she left her job here at the White House and went to the Pentagon, she would sign in to come back to the White House using the name of the president's private personal secretary. Tonight, she too has been subpoenaed. But again, the defining moment comes tomorrow when Lewinsky is forced for the first time to give sworn testimony. And the question is, does she take the fifth and refuse to testify, or can they cut a deal? Tom?
Thanks very much, David Bloom at the White House tonight. To help us put all of this in perspective tonight, NBC's Washington Bureau Chief, the moderator of Meet the Press, Tim Russert. Tim, tomorrow is the biggest day in the Clinton presidency.
Tom, the deposition for Monica Lewinsky is scheduled for 10 a.m., but I can report tonight that her lawyer has asked that that deposition be postponed so that she can prepare for a pending criminal investigation. The judge will be ruling on that tonight.
And Tim, what about the president and his political friends? One of the major congressional Democrats told me today that he believes the worst of this story, and he says the president simply doesn't have any friends on Capitol Hill to defend him now.
Tom, the silence is deafening, and the White House knows it. They now believe that President Clinton must talk to the American people within the next 24 to 48 hours through a news conference, through an interview, some way to seize the public relations offensive. They know yesterday, in their words, was a disaster. They are trying to get their story straight, frankly, the dates, the times, the gifts, the visits, so that the president can respond to questions in a truthful way and not do further political damage to himself.
All right, thanks very much, Tim Russert, and we'll wait to see what happens tonight on that deposition tomorrow, whether it, in fact, is postponed. With all the talk about the personal and political damage the president is suffering, what about the potential legal troubles? What kind of problems could he end up facing in the courts, also in Congress? We begin in depth tonight with NBC's Pete Williams.
If the accusations against the president turn out to be true, a big if, he would enter very uncertain legal territory. As unsavory as the sexual accusations are, the potential violations of law involve only what he may have said, not what he may have done. Legal sources say that in his sworn statement given to Paula Jones's lawyers, the president denied having an affair with Monica Lewinsky. If it's ever proven that he did, then that false statement under oath could lead to a federal perjury charge. For the other allegation that he told Ms. Lewinsky to deny that they had an affair, he could then face a charge of suborning or inducing someone to commit perjury. Kenneth Starr is now investigating those perjury charges. He pledged today to get it over with as soon as he can.
Do you envision this taking another 3 years? We're moving as promptly as we possibly can.
And suppose Kenneth Starr were to indict the president for perjury. Could a sitting president be forced to undergo a criminal trial? Legal scholars say no one knows for sure.
So all of this is uncharted territory. We really don't know the answer. and we may never find out, but we may.
But what worries close friends of the president even more is a little noticed provision in the law. It says the independent counsel must tell Congress about any information he receives that could constitute grounds for impeachment.